Hey there everybody, and welcome on back to Minecraft. Today we are going to be taking a look at this lovely thing right here, the Nether portal. As we all know, Minecraft 1.16 is getting pretty close to being released here soon. It seems like they're moving into the bug fixes, which is absolutely awesome. So today I want to come out here and show you all 5 different simple Nether portal designs that you could set up inside your own world. Maybe you're starting a new survival world and you want a quick way to get into the Nether. You don't want to just slap the portal down and call it good. So first and foremost, we're over here building up, which is just kind of hiding the Nether portal inside of a hill. For these ones, this is actually something that I recently used on the Legacy SMP server. I like this one a lot. You just kind of randomly place a bunch of stone around in a big circle around where you put your Nether portal down, so you can just slap it down in the middle of a field and make it look like a mound is built around it, or the mound is there first and it somehow spawned inside of it. Big thing on this one, I would say, is adding in some andesite into the stone cliffs you're making, adding in some leaf bushes, ferns, grass, and mushroom blocks here if you have the ability to get those. If you have silk touch already, is a really good way of kind of breaking that up. You don't want it to look like just a giant ball of stone. You want to add a lot more life into it. And then coming over here into our second one, speaking of life, we're actually going to be building a dead tree. Great segue, right? I'm really working on these ones here. But for this one, I just wanted to build a giant dark oak tree stump. I feel like that's something that could be a really cool way of showing our Nether portal, as it like some ancient thing came here and spawned in the portal and it like killed this giant gorgeous tree that we had. But now the tree in this case is all the nutrients of it are going back into the ground and kind of giving life to everything around it. So I covered it with a bunch of leaves, a bunch more mushrooms, and all that stuff around here, using a lot of fences on top to be our different branches and things, and adding that one step further with flower pots on there with dead bushes inside of them. I thought that was a really cool way of doing it, adding a little bit of spruce in there to mix up the texture of the woods and everything like that. Then I decided around the outside of it is to add in a large wheat field. I figured that'd be something kind of cool in here, and it helps to spawn proof the area a little bit more. Mobs can't spawn on farmland, so it'll actually save you a little bit of time on this one if you need to. And that's kind of that easy one right there. It's pretty quick to do. Dark oak wood is not too bad to harvest and everything like that. This one coming up to a little bit of a larger portal design. We're actually going to be building something that would look like it almost be put into a medieval city wall of sorts, which I really like on this one. We're going to be using a lot of stone brick. We're using a lot of cobblestone. We're going to be using a lot of spruce wood in here. Very simple and easy to get blocks in the beginning of the game. All you got to do is cook down a bunch of cobblestone, and while you're doing that, go chop down a big old spruce tree and you're good to go here. This one works out really well because I think it has a lot of depth to it, it has a lot of contrast to it, and it feels like this could actually be a wall that goes around your entire village or whatever you might be building, so you can have just this Nether portal in a part of it. Maybe instead of a gate going out the south side of your city, you have a Nether portal sitting there. So it's incorporated into your build. It doesn't have to be its own separate thing, because I know these things can be a little obtrusive sometimes. They're a little weird and they kind of get in the way for me. I don't really like including Nether portals. I try and hide them pretty often inside of my own builds, but I figured this is kind of a good middle ground of it's kind of hidden and it's probably in a wall, so it's far away from your storage room, so you don't have to listen to the sound of it all the time, and I figured that's a great way to go. And inside of this one, I did want to mix up the cobblestone here by adding in some mossy stone and adding in some andesite and stuff like that, but out front, just to add a little bit more of a walkway leading up to it, throwing some cobblestone down on the ground and adding in some stone brick walls on the outside of it, and creating this little pathway with a bunch of bushes. I think it kind of helps lead you into walking into the central Nether portal, which would get you into the Nether. And it has a huge entrance, so you don't have to worry about getting stuck when you're coming out of it. Over on this side, we're going back to a smaller design with this one. This one's kind of inspired by the Tibetan style that I did a while ago. We're going to be mixing and matching a lot of things in here, just trying to get a lot of depth in this, using those walls where we can to just make it a little bit more interesting than it otherwise would be. These shapes, you need to really break them up a lot and create a lot of rounded shapes in here. So in the top, we're just going to use some spruce wood to help go with all of the warmer colors in the brick, the granite, and some terracotta, which I would have added in here, but I kind of forgot on that one. And just kind of working with all of the shapes that we have. And I figured a great way to balance out all of those warm colors would be to come down here and add in some ponds on either side, which would be really cool. We'll add in some big coral things in here for some giant lily pad flowers as well, which is just going to be a jungle trapdoor on the top of the water block. And then you add in lily pads around it and add in a coral fan on top of that, and it works out really well. But that's something that I think is awesome. I love this one right here. I think it's got a lot of cool characteristics to it, and you can see this just in the middle of a giant temple area. You just keep extending those little wall segments out and just have a very cool place around it. Over here, however, for our last design, I want to tackle a cyberpunk nether portal because I've been loving the cyberpunk theme recently. So I'm trying to make this look almost like a reactor of sorts of the nether portal is being powered or is powering these lights and things around it and everything like that, because I feel like for the cyberpunky, it's kind of like a futuristic theme, but you go way more into having a lot of light and color and stark contrast all over the build. I know it's hard to do like everything in just like a total like Tron-esque theme because Minecraft doesn't really allow for that, but I think this is about as good as we can get here. Going on the other side, just building up the same thing that we built here. I just apparently wanted to have us stare at this wall for a long time, so great. Great replay footage here. But coming over into the middle now, hopefully, is we're going to be starting to actually build up the nether portal. I want this one to be grand and large and on the different sides, including some end rods to get more of that light fixtures inside of here. Then I've been loving using honey blocks inside of the build, so I figured we'd throw some up there and just kind of add some extra details to it, just make it a little bit of the same thing. I would say with cyberpunk designs, you want the roof lines to be pretty similar, or you want at least the darker, where we have those dark grays kind of being everything holding it together. That should be your highest-ish point. Coming out here, however, what we're doing is just kind of adding an extra fixture to the front of this one. I like to make this almost feel like an alien area. So all of this glass that we're building up is kind of like a font of some orange misty thing coming up out of the ground. Could be due to the nether as well. And then I want to add the mycelium, and we'll be adding in some coral in here. And then for the roadway, it's just some andesite and coarse dirt in there, which kind of works with creating this almost alien-ish atmosphere in there. And I think it worked out really cool. But that is the 5 different nether portal designs that we have here. Let me know what ones you would add to this list, or what ones you're personally planning to build inside your own place, or ones that you want some advice on building that I can help you out with, because I would love to be doing a second one of these videos. So let me know all that stuff down in the comments below, and also which was your favorite. All that cool stuff right here. But here's just a quick look at all of them. We will be jumping in game here in just a brief moment to take a look at that without the shaders on, so it's a little bit easier for y'all to see this one. But let's get out over there. I gotta say, all of these builds that we went through were really fun to make. Just little simple ones that you can use for your Minecraft 1.16 brand new survival worlds and all that stuff that you're gonna be making. I wanted to come through here one last time to walk through all of them without shaders on, so y'all can see a little bit better about what's going on with it. I feel like nether portals, now you know that we're getting the nether update, they're going to be a little bit more important to our worlds and making sure they look a little bit better instead of just this thing crammed into a hole in the side of your house or something along those lines. Totally acceptable, but if you want to take a one up beyond those, we've got all these designs that we were previously looking at. The first one here was our little hill mountain of sorts. I've done something similar to this, just on a larger scale on the Legacy SMP server, and it worked out really well. What I really like is adding a lot of color on top of it with flowers, and then mixing up the stone, adding a little bit of andesite in there so you can kind of pepper that in and make it just look a little bit more, adding a little bit more variety to it so you don't get these big old flat faces of just stone. Adding in the andesite helps it not feel so weird. Then bringing in some bushes and some ferns and flowers and everything like that, it's pretty great. I think a very important thing for nether portals is having some quick access storage inside or outside of it. One thing I will say though is a little treacherous with this one is if this portal is somewhere inside of a nether fortress on the other side, it can be a little dangerous coming out here because there's a chance for magma slimes to slip out through that one, and I've unfortunately run into those a few too many times of outside the portal, getting trapped in the portal by a magma slime, and then yeah, you know that's probably one you want to watch out for, so maybe be careful of that one depending on the zone you're in. Then this guy over here, we have this awesome little dark oak tree stump of sorts. One detail bit that I absolutely love up here that I came up with was flower pots with dead bushes in there to make it look like these branches are kind of splintering off and going off in different directions and helping add to that dead tree stump look that we have here. And then big old wheat field taking the life from the tree and everything, all the nutrients from this decaying into the ground. So you got a bunch of mushrooms and leaves and mushrooms and stuff and more leaves and wheat and mushroom and dark oak and mushrooms and leaves and wheat and dead bushes. It's great, right? Next one coming up over here is more of like a medieval inspired wall design of sorts. I like this one. It's very simple. I think it's a pretty cool structure. You could just build this into a wall that you're doing stretching across all the way around your town and just kind of have it hidden here. If you have villagers inside your town, I would very much recommend doing some fence gates right along here. Otherwise, they will all end up in the nether. Be very careful of that one. But I love the little detailed back wall we have on this, and then a lot of the spruce mixed in here to help bring a little bit more, to bring it away from that kind of stone look that we have. I like to avoid everything just being in the gray categories. or the gray color scheme. I like adding in a little bit of the browns and greens and everything like that. Just helps mix it up and make it feel a lot more vibrant, and just there's a lot more depth to it when you add those colors in. This one over here was almost like a Tibetan inspired shrine of sorts. I thought was really cool that came up with. One thing I would mix into here as well is bringing in some just regular terracotta, missing the T there, but you could dot a few of those in around here and help kind of smooth this structure out a little bit more. Adding in a little bit of stuff like this, I think it's good to have the variety inside of this build of granite, terracotta, and brick, because otherwise brick, if you go back far away from this one, it gets very busy. So adding in the granite and the terracotta just helps to break that up, because having these hard horizontal lines being in the brick can be a little bit weird from far away. Then having in some nice smoother colors here, so we got a lot of the warmer colors being that, we got the warmer brown tones inside of our coarse dirt, and then having the water with some very cool tones being our smooth stone, everything there really brings that one together. I like it a lot. It's very cool. And then of course I had to go with a bit of a cyberpunk design, because I'm trying to come up with my own cyberpunk inspired nether portal. I've got a few very cool ideas for that one, but this thing over here was really fun to build. Just kind of our classic little design we're using for the cyberpunk light strips and everything like that. Looks fantastic at nighttime, and I figured I want to start working on these little like font designs where like stained glass art designs, or maybe like a hologram of something coming up out of here. And that's kind of what the result was of it. So I thought it was pretty cool to mess around with. I like putting this in almost like a spacey type area, so adding in a bunch of the mycelium and dead coral, I feel like kind of brings it to like a space plant of sorts. But that is all I've got time for in today's video, folks. I hope y'all did enjoy this one, looking at a bunch of different nether portal designs, and we forgot to put some blocks on there, but that is a-okay, my friends. Be sure to click that like button down below if you did enjoy. If you have any other ideas for nether portal designs that you are thinking about using, let me know that down in the comments below as well. Click that subscribe button if you're brand new, and I will catch you on the flip side.